Hey everyone, my name is David Rao and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Twitter. I guess it's called X now. You can find it on TikTok and a variety of other places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Tonight I'm going to do another use it and lose it video, something that you should do and something that you should think about not doing anymore, or think about how you might change your practice to help your general happiness and well-being. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. If you hear me talk about a book or a resource or something that you are interested in, I have a whole page dedicated to those links and ideas on my blog, makemomentsmatter.org. You can either navigate yourself there or wherever you're watching or listening to this. Probably there's a link at the bottom of the caption where you can just go straight to that. Otherwise, send me a message. I'll help you find whatever I'm talking about. Okay, I think that's most of the housekeeping stuff. Let's get started. So, talking about what you should use and what you should lose. So, today my lose it, like what you should lose, what you should stop doing, is sort of up to you and up to you as far as how much you do this. But I would say stop saying yes, or instead of stop saying yes, feel free to say no. And what do I mean by that? I mean exactly that. I feel like as teachers in general, we get overloaded with too many things. There are all the things that we're required to do for our job, for our contractual employment, right? All the things that you are required as a teacher to do. And I have worked in both union states and non-union states. Currently, I'm in a union state where at a certain point, I can say like, bye, see ya, I'm done. I've met my contract obligations and I'm going home. And I've also worked in non-union states where the principal says, okay, I have like 3 more things I want to talk about. And you're like, it's past duty hours, but they can keep me, I guess. Anyway, I've been in many situations, and it is very frustrating when people try and ask you to do more things than what you're comfortable doing, or try and overload more things. And I just want to say today, it is okay to say no. And because you know how much you can handle, you know how much you can do. I will say when I was a young teacher, I said yes to a lot of things. And I don't necessarily think that's bad, because you get good experience, you try new stuff, you figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you can handle, what you can't handle. And I learned pretty quickly what worked for me and what didn't. And so it was okay early on when I had more energy and was more interested to say more yeses. But now I've sort of learned when I should say no and when that's appropriate to do, and when it's helpful. So what I found is now that I've been teaching a while, I know what I can handle. I know where my stress level is. And I know that there are some times where it's like some things when someone says, hey, would you like to X, Y, and Z? In my head, it's like immediately red flag, red alert. No, I do not want to do that. It's so much work. It's so much time. I don't want to get involved in that. Sometimes it's things that seem to be good or helpful, but still in my head, I'm like, I don't know. So let me give you a couple examples of that. There have been times where I get an email and someone says, hey, would you like to be on this committee? It's not during contract hours. It's extra, but like we'd really appreciate it. And I was like, ooh, wow. No, thank you. I mean, thank you for thinking of me. I am so appreciative that you would consider me for that. No, thank you. I know that I don't have the time. I know I could maybe do it or sneak it in, but I know I would be stealing time away from something else to do that. And I already know how many things I do in a day, and it's a lot of things. I have a concert this week. I just got back from a trip. I mean, like there are all these things that I know, like, ooh, I'm already busy. Adding on more stuff sometimes is just more stuff. So if it's something where you're like, I don't really know, it's okay to say no. Maybe later you go, hey, I actually do have more time. I'd be happy to help if you have time for help. And so then it's okay to say yes then, but it's okay to say no. Here's another example. I got an email that said, hey, we have insert whatever event you want to have. We're opening a new donut shop. We're doing a special Race for the Cure thing. We have a new assembly or whatever. anything in the community, outside the community, in your school, outside your school, where they say, would your choir like to sing? And my answer, as of late, has been, thank you so much for considering us. No, thank you. Not because I don't think it would be great for the kids or because whatever, but like, I just know, like, I only have so much time to prepare them for the concert. I know we have the choral festival coming up. I know how much time I already put into this, and it's a lot. And I know what I can do without overstressing myself. And if I add this extra thing, it's just going to add a ton more stress for me. Because I think what's interesting is as I become a better teacher, or as I've been coming through time, I've seen sometimes things like, oh yeah, that might be fun for kids, but it's going to super overload me, and it's going to make not just like, oh, and I also have a concert and oh whatever, but it might make like my daily life is stressful now because I've added this extra thing. So it's okay to say no. Here's another example, and here's an example that I'm saying because I am someone who grew up not enjoying conflict. And now I avoid conflict whenever I can avoid it. And I do not like confrontation. So when I got this email, well, I'll tell you what happened. This year, I got an email saying, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I teach at the high school that your school feeds into. And we do this program called, students in the classroom for learning purpose. I don't remember what it's exactly called, but we send high school students to the classrooms to like observe teachers. And if you're interested, sign up. And then I found out, I realized that one, oh, this email is directed to classroom teachers. And I was about to hit delete when I saw the little thing that said, oh, and specials teachers, since they'll be going to the 4th grade homerooms or the 5th grade homerooms or whatever time they come, they might end up in your classroom. If you don't want that, just let me know. But they'll just come along with the class. And so I was like, oh, I must respond. Deep, doop. Got on my computer. I was like, thank you so much. This seems like such an interesting program. Hooray for teaching kids about education life and getting them interested in a career in education. I would prefer not to have a student come to my classroom. Thank you so much. And you might be like, wait, why? Why do you... And actually, that's the email I got back from the high school teacher. She's like, okay, we won't send, but just wondering why. I've just learned over the years that when another person is in my room, it just adds a layer of stress. I don't know why. It's just the way that I work. And I know that like it's different for different situations. If it is my student teacher, that's different. If it's another music teacher who's visiting my classroom, that's different. If it's my administrator, that feels different. If it's like a parent who wants to sit in and watch and be with their kid that day, that feels different. If, for some reason, the superintendent and your U.S. senator randomly shows up in your room, because that's happened to me, that feels very different. I mean, so like, I just know like when people show up in my room, it changes my stress level. And I've known over the years that I would rather not have a revolving door of people coming through my classroom. That's just my personal preference. And even though this might be for someone who is like vaguely interested in education perhaps at one point, because again, it's like a high school sophomore or something who like has in their careers class been like, yeah, teacher, I don't know, but like they sort of want to come. It just, for me, it doesn't, it just adds more stress. Also in my head, I know like, oh wait, if this were a music education student from the local college who has put in the work and put in the effort and really wants to come to like gain lessons and ask me questions and all of that feels different. And it changes the level of stress. But if this is a kid who's just going to be like with a 4th grade class and just randomly like sit in the room, they don't talk to me. They don't ask me questions. I just know like for myself, And so I was like, I responded back and was like, here are the reasons. And also like I have a student teacher. And since we don't know when this kid is coming, I would hate for my student teacher to be like vulnerable trying something for the first time. And then here's this other extra person. So I just know for me and for myself and for my class, I just didn't need that. And guess what? I had a couple more emails with that person, and it did not become confrontational, but it just was like, you can keep saying no. It's okay. You are not required to do something if you don't feel comfortable with it. This is me. Again, maybe I'm just saying this for myself, so I hear myself saying it, but you don't have to say yes. It's okay to say no, because you're figuring out how are you protecting your own time? How are you protecting your own level of stress? You are doing this not just for yourself, but also for your students. And it's okay. It's okay to say no sometimes. Many times. As many times as you want. Okay, so just putting that out there, the lose it for today is the feeling that you must always say yes. You do not always have to say yes. Okay, that was my lose it thought for the day. My use it thought is that you should use the resources and the people around you who are helpful and can help make your life, your teaching life, your personal life, they can make that better. And what I found over the years, like people sometimes ask, like, how did you get into blogging? How did you get into doing stuff like what you're doing now? And I'll tell you that I started doing all of this because I felt like an island. Years ago, when I first started teaching, in my first couple years of teaching, I felt so isolated as the only person in the building. I didn't know who I could ask for questions for content. I didn't know where to reach out. And let me tell you, the context for where I taught, in my first couple of years of teaching, I taught in a district that had like over 20 elementary music teachers. We met like once a month at least. We also met in a small cohort of just the people who funneled into the high school that I went to. Like I had now that I'm looking back at it, I had a pretty great support system. But I still felt like I'm all alone in some ways. And so I started reaching out on the internet. I started blogging. I started doing other things so I could find more of a connection with other people and become a better teacher, become a better influence in the classroom. That's what I started to do. And that was really great. But I also found that not only can I find things online, but I also can find so many other things when I meet with music teachers in person. And in my very first year teaching, I got hooked in with my local ORF chapter, the Kansas ORF chapter, and I went to meetings, and when I came away from those workshops, I got a ton of lessons. But more than that, and what I think is maybe in some ways more valuable, I not only got a lot of great lessons, but I also got, I gained amazing connections. I found very good friends who were sort of the same years teaching as me and were going through the same things. I found mentor teachers who were like, oh yeah, you're asking about X, Y, and Z. Here's this cool lesson. Or have you heard about this book or X, Y? Or I'm just going to send you what I use for what, like all of these veteran teachers were like swooped in and were so helpful. And also, I mean, not only did I get great lessons and make great connections and find there were other things. It's all the little things that you go to a workshop and you gain just from being there. So for example, there have been times where I have been presenting or another person been presenting, and it's like the small thing that is like a huge, like all the time people are like, what presentation clicker are you using? Or how did you get the PowerPoint to do that? Or, wait, what did you do? How do you separate out those centers? And it's like the little things that, yes, there are the big lessons and the big connections and all that, but it's also like, oh my gosh, if I just switch this setting to this setting, I can do this from my computer and not, or from my piano, not from my computer. It's like the little things that you get too, because you don't always know what you can do until you see it in action. So this is me saying, I know that weekend time is valuable. I know that nighttime is valuable. I know that any time away from the school building when you are with your family or with your people, that's so valuable. I would say that you should try to find a local group that you can connect with. How can you do that? Well, there are a lot of ways. There are ORF chapters all around the country. There are Kodai chapters all around the country. There are Dalcroze chapters. All these local groups that, like on literally every weekend, there is someone meeting for like 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe 6 hours if you're lucky. And for like, I don't know, a couple bucks, $15 or whatever, $20, you can go to this workshop and you can make all these friends. Usually there's snacks. You can make these connections, get these great lessons, see a master teacher do their thing. And those workshops are just so valuable. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I just went to, not a local chapter, but I just went to the national convention, the American ORF Shulverk Association National Convention in Albuquerque. And it was amazing. It was so many great sessions. I went to like, I don't know, 10 or 12 like sessions over the course of 3 days. Literally, I was telling a colleague today, I was like, well, it started at 8 a.m. and we went until 9:15 p.m. because there's like a break for lunch and dinner, but there's like optional evening sessions. There's all through the day, all these things that are so valuable. And I connected with people I haven't seen in a long time. It was so much fun. And not only that, but then you find extra things along the way. Now, I'm not going to share any lesson plans that someone shared in one of their workshops because that's their work and you should go see them. And so put on your calendars next year, the American Orphan Association National Convention is in Des Moines, Iowa. Put it on your calendar like the second full week of November. It's going to be amazing. Well, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of the second week. Anyway, so put that on your calendar. Or if you're like, but I want to do this year, the Association of American Kodai Educators, OAKE, they are meeting in Chicago, and that's in the spring. There are other great workshops you can go to. You should plan on it. So I'm not going to share one of the lessons I saw in a workshop, but one of the other things, as I was walking around, meeting people, saying hi, I went through the exhibit floor, right, where like all the booths were, and I went to West Music, and I went to Music is Elementary, and I got to actually shop at Musically Minted. If you've never seen Musically Minted, you should look them up on Instagram. That's the store, maybe also on Facebook. I'm not sure. Or look up the online webpage. There are so many cute and wonderful like tumblers and lanyards and notepads and all sorts of anyway, you should check it out. That was another booth I got to go and see in person. But what I found and was excited about was I strolled through the Sweet Pipes booth. And Sweet Pipes is a store that sells online and also at workshops and booths and stuff. I think it's sweetpipes.com, but they have books, they have teacher resources, they have recorders. That was for a long time the bulk of what they did, but now they do so much more. They do recorders, they do movement props, like tons of stuff. And I was like sifting through their books because I like books, and I found a book that I was like, man, I have always like seen this online, but I've like never gotten it from the library. I like should look at it. And within like 2 minutes, I was like, okay, I need to buy this. And I could have, again, said, I'm going to go home and take this, and I'm going to buy it from Amazon. Except no, I would rather buy it from Sweet Pipes because they serve our community and they help our community, and I want them to have my business. Amazon will not miss this purchase from me. They will not miss it. They are doing just fine. But Sweet Pipes, I wanted to support. So anyway, I'm going to show you the book, and I'm going to tell you about how I'm going to use it. I haven't used it yet because I got it last weekend, and I'm still deciding what I want to do. But I want to show you the book. So it's this book called Paletero Man, and this is by Lucky Diaz and Micah Player. And I've always been like, wow, it's fun. It's about food. So many of my lessons are about food. It's fun. It's about food, and it's colorful, and I'm excited. So let me just read you a couple pages and then tell you what I'm planning on doing with it, and then you can tell me, oh no, here's this other thing I do, and yada yada yada, and then we can like learn together. Anyway, in the hottest month on the hottest day in the city of dreamers, California, LA, I grab my dinero and make my way to find my friend Paletero Jose. Pushing his cart full of cool treats, bailando he dances to mariachi beats. He has dozens of flavors, I can already taste. Will he have my favorite? There's not a second to waste. Okay, already I love this because it's colorful, it's fun, it's talking about paletas, which are like ice pops. And my kids, I know they're going to be like, I'm excited about the flavor. Okay, there's Tio Ernesto. He asks, tamale today? No gracias, Tio. Where's Paletero Jose? Can you hear his call? Or sorry, ring, ring, ring. Can you hear his call? Paletas for one, paletas for all. Now what you don't maybe notice is, as this kid is running away, the money is slipping out of his pocket. This will come back later on in the story. Un aroma is calling. Caught in the breeze. It's a barbecue smell coming from Miss Lee's. Hola, querido. Would you like a sample today? No gracias, señorita. Where's Paletero Jose? Again, money all over. He's losing the money. Ring, ring, ring. Can you hear his call? Paletas for one, paletas for all. The only way to beat this heat is with an icy cold paleta treat. There's my friend from the bike shop. Lo siento, Frank. There's no time to stop. Ring, ring, ring. Can you hear his call? Paletas for one, paletas for all. Will he have all the flavors, the colors I love? Horchata, canela, the kind I dream of. Chocolate, elote, sandía o fresa. Arroz con leche, miel o cereza. Ring, ring, ring. Can you hear his call? Paletas for one, paletas for all. Here he is, Paletero Jose. Finally, I'll get cool on this very hot day. And he's saying, Oye, niños, what will it be? He has all my favorites. Can it be true? Chocolate, chocolate, vanilla, y melon too. Sorry, I'm trying to read it as if it's English. But today, I'd like piña. Do you have that sabor? He smiles a big smile. Claro, para ti, el mejor. I reach into my pocket to pay for my paleta. Mi dinero, mi money. Está perdido. It's missing. It's lost. ¿A dónde se ha ido? Se ha ido. What will I do? What can I say? How can I buy my paleta today? Because it's all fallen out of his pocket because he was not paying attention. It all fell out. And just at that moment, what do I see? My neighborhood friends, Tio, Frank, and Miss Lee. We called out your name when we saw your coins drop, but you must have not heard us because you didn't stop. Muchas gracias, amigos. What would I have done? I guess I dropped my money when I was on the run. Kindness for all, shouts Paletero Jose. I have a surprise that will brighten your day. Oye, amigos, paletas on me. Because of your kindness, the paletas are free. Whether it's stormy or whether it's sunny, whether or not you have any money, I'll always help out an amigo in need. Yo te prometo, an amigo indeed. In the hottest month on the hottest day, we have fun in the sun with Paletero Jose. Ring, 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 we can hear his call. Paletas for one, paletas for all. And that's the end. Okay, I love this book. It is beautiful. The colors are wonderful. I have like 8 ideas. Here are my ideas. Okay, so the first one is, what if you read the book and then you took that little hook that's like, ring, 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 can you hear his call? Paletas for one, paletas for all. And what if you were like, what are some other things that you could say? Ring, 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 can you hear his call? Hot dogs for one, hot dogs for all. Because maybe you don't want to use paleta, because paleta has like a pickup in the word paleta. So if it's not paleta, it's paleta. So that's a little tricky. So maybe you want to do like hot dogs for one, or maybe do like sushi for one. You could go through lots of different foods. You could see what would fit. You could let different groups come up with different ideas of how they would vary the song themselves. You could add body percussion. So you go like, ring, 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 can you hear his call? Paletas for one, paletas for all. Or you could do like hot dogs for one, hot dogs for all. You could add body percussion. There are so many things you could do with the food part there. Actually, the other thing I want to share is that there is a song that goes along with it. So if you look at the book, it says, listen to the live song at, and it tells you, and let me see if I can show you. I might be able to do this if my technology wants to work. Okay, let me try and flip Insta around. Okay, Insta, I don't know if you can see this. Sorry, let me try and pull this back. So this is the HarperCollins website. And on the HarperCollins website, like, okay, so it shows the book and where you can buy it and all that stuff. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop, Target, Walmart, and also Sweet Pipes, the music store online. There's this cool little video. Let me see if I can play just a smidge of this. So that's just a little teaser video, but then down here, it has actually the song. And so you can go to his SoundCloud page, and it plays the song. So it's got like a 3-minute song. And it actually goes through the whole story. Once it gets past this chorus, you can hear it. So it's just a cute little song, and let me turn this back around. It's a cute little song. You could absolutely play that if you wanted, and you could, you could have kids listen. You could show the videos again. Like I said, you could change out paletas for something else. Let's see if I can find the one other thing. If you wanted this to be an older grade thing, I have this game. I was like immediately thinking like, how else could I do this? How else could I do this? Let me see if I can show this again. I have this game on TPT that I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is perfect. If we wanted to do like reviewing treble clef. So this is like a game where, here, let's just view the preview. So it's a little game where it's for centers. And so I already have these printed out. And what do kids do? So like each little word has a word that's written with treble clef letters. So ace, babe, bag, bee, and then there's a little spot on the treble clef that it shows what it looks like on there. So they have to match up the little paleta with the word on the staff. That's totally something you could do. I also have one that's bass clef, so if they wanted to do, that's the ice cream cone version. So if you wanted them to review bass clef, you could do that too. But I was immediately like, as I picked up the book, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. I have like a young kid version, an old kid version. I could leave this for a sub with the song or with a recording of myself reading it. And then what if I left this with a sub, myself reading it or the song or both, and then I left that center game. And then, or maybe I left another thing or, something. They're just already, I was like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And I wouldn't have this book if I hadn't gone to National Conference and if I hadn't wandered around in like the few minutes between sessions, or if I hadn't, I guess been attracted by the amazing colors on the front too. But all of that because I was at conference, and not only did it's one of those times where not only did I get all the great lessons from the presenters, and not only did I get the connections with people, but I also got a really cool lesson because I was there and just the book was there, and I followed it to see where it could go. So anyway, this is me saying, and I know this sounds crazy because I just spent like 10 minutes talking about like you could say no. So you could say no to this, but like this is me saying I know that time is valuable. Reclaim that time by saying no to some things, and then spend one weekend a month where you spend 4 hours on a Saturday morning with your local ORF chapter, or ask your principal for that PD time and go to a national conference, or find the time to make those connections, because I know that time is so valuable, but I just know from personal experience and from so many experiences of people around me that it is worth taking the time to go and do those workshops and those conferences and to make those connections. Okay, well, I'm going to put Paletero Man and also the ice cream treat and other things on the links page in case you're interested in those. But I hope this gave you some ideas, and I hope this gave you some encouragement if you were like, I see I'm getting overloaded with stuff. You can say no to things. It is okay. And they will happen or they won't. You don't have to be stressed out about like, but if I don't do it, or you don't have to be stressed out like, I don't want to make waves, or I don't have confrontation. It's okay to say no. You are allowed. So just feel like you're able to do that. But don't say no to going to your local workshops and things like that, because that's so, so valuable. Okay, well, I hope this gave you some ideas, and I will see you all next week for another Musical Mondays video. We're almost to Thanksgiving break. Just hold on for a few more days. I know we can make it. I literally, as I was getting ready to do this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's already November 6th. Time will fly. Just hold on. Have some leftover candy corn. We will make it. Okay, I'll see y'all next week. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.